Good afternoon.
Yeah,
Good afternoon, ma'am.
afternoon.
Good
Welcome,
afternoon,
Kavya.
Deepika.
Welcome.
Thank you, sir. How are you, sir?
We are fine. We are going to start now, Kavya?
Sure, sir.
Yes, ma'am. I'm starting. Good afternoon, everyone. It's my honor to host today community of practice session Flaw in the Flow, where we delve into food losses and critical issues of food loss and wastage. And everyone think why we did choose this theme, Flaw in the Flow. So because we are finding the gap in between food loss and wastage. So that we need to, and today this session about identify those weak points and transforming them into opportunity for meaningful changes. Thank you all for joining us today. This is a special event, and thanks to special panelists, participants, and our team's speaker. And why the globally one third of all food produced is lost because of significant environmental causes, economic causes, and social impact. So, food reducing and waste is crucial for food security, climate action, and sustainable development. This event aims to inspire action, share knowledge, and foster collaboration among all experts like private sectors, international sectors, all government sectors. We can collaborate them. And I'm truly privileged to introduce our speakers who not only inspire me, even he inspire every day in our guiding force in Asia Pacific agriculture research landscape. Our special keynote speaker, Dr. Ravi Khetrapal, Executive Director of APAARI, and Dr. Ravi Khetrapal, Leadership, Vision and Tireless Efforts in Advancing Sustainable Agriculture and Food System, continue to inspire a generation of change maker. And please join with us, welcoming Dr. Ravi Khetrapal, sir. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Deepika.
Yes, sir.
Welcome, everyone, once again on behalf of APAARI. Some of you know what is APAARI. For some others, I may tell you very soon. I just want to highlight here, community of practice is a very formal and an informal way both to really exchange our ideas, our thought, to build partnership, and to see how best we can work to support policy and advocacy. We already have two community of practices which are doing wonders at global level, not regional. One is we call APCOP, Asia Biopesticide Community of Practice, which came as a sustainability plan of the output of our SKDF WTO project, and highly appreciated now globally by all the people who are working towards agri-food system transformation for use of biopesticide in agroecology, less chemical, and so on. Secondly, with our project in Bangladesh, where we were trying to build a strong partnership, public-private partnership, we succeeded with the help of USAID, of course, now working alone. As you know, USAID is almost closed. We started a community of practice on public-private partnership, which has brought the best of private sector and the public sector on one platform to debate and to see how they can be mutually helpful. Today's community of practice, food loss and wastage, is a very vast topic. We all waste food. We all know food is lost. We see it very, if not happily, we close our eyes. We all know this is being done globally. Now, in that context, when we were analyzing this, Deepika, who has joined us as an intern, associate now, to work on this, she was compiling information. We found this is a beginning of a silent famine where we all are heading for. Silent famine is very crucial to understand, where the amount we lose if we would have used it for feeding the malnourished or undernourished or those people who don't have access to food, we would have achieved a lot. We don't need to look at food security by having new technology, new innovations, investing too much on the too much inputs on the planet, new fertilizer, which is required. But if you look at, I'll give you some information in my presentation. If if you only follow your grandmother, the whole topic is based on grandmother's advice. If you only follow your grandmother who has been teaching us in our childhood, who tells us where every drop is important, you put off the cap so tight. Like the importance of saving. You will see that how much global population we can feed without doing so much of scientific and technical innovation, which are required otherwise. And rather now is time has come where we have to focus our research and innovation on circular economy, how to avoid these losses, those kind of a thing which certain institutions are working on, how to use the waste, how to get the best from the cow dungs, from urine, from here and there, systems which can degrade waste. And a lot of things are coming up. There is a new direction of where we need to go if we believe in agri-food system transformation in the real sense. May I have my first PowerPoint, please? Karak, are you presenting?
Sir, you want me to present?
Yeah.
I mean-
I was waiting for any one of you to present.
Okay, sir.
You are so many that I got lost to focus on one. Yeah, Humaira, please do. Okay. Before this, the previous
sir.
one. Yeah, this presentation, which I assure you I'll finish in 20 minutes, is prepared with the literature compiled by Deepika and with active support of Humaira, who has joined APAARI a few months back from Dhaka, and Darshika, who has joined us about 2 years ago from Sri Lanka. Next. Next, Humaira.
It's not moving, so just give no send. Yeah.
Okay. So as Deepika mentioned, we are talking of FLAW, food loss and wastage. If you don't make this abbreviation into capital letters, it becomes a flaw. Flaw means a fault. So what we are doing is a flaw in the flaw, which we are going to highlight. Will make you understand what is food loss and waste, and how powerful is it to save. Where are we in the Asia Pacific? Which are the areas of food loss and waste? And what is the impact on environment, on our economics, on the malnutrition? And then how to minimize some best practices and call to action. Call to action is something where we all need to sit and ponder. Next. Well, some of you who may not be knowing APAARI, here we have, this gives a summary of who we are. And we have our programs, our thematic areas, and our key donors, which are shown on the right as project sponsors. And we work in, we have members from 33 member countries, and there are 22 countries which are UN member states, which are member of APAARI. In all, we have more than 50 members. In one of the thematic area is inclusive development. And here, when we talk of inclusive development, we talk of pro-poor value chain. Another one is on risk mitigation, where we talk of risk to the climate, to the pest, to the pesticide, and so on, and policy and advocacy. So these are the three thematic areas which directly cover what we are going to cover under food loss and waste. Next. The very objective of community of practice is awareness, knowledge sharing, building partnerships, scoping for programs and projects after we have built partnerships, and to influence the policy at the national level on the ground. Next. Understanding food loss. You all know we lose food or the crop right from the production to post-harvest and at the processing stage. And 15% of all the food produce is lost on farms around and after harvest. This represents a mountain of vegetables, fruit, grain, and more on a scale that can feed 870 million undernourished people for times over. It's a very, very interesting figure. If we really look at it, it will give you how you have to divert your mindset on where to focus at the national level and where you can really help the global community in achieving food security in the light of the silent famine which we are having. Next. Now, loss and waste, they are having different connotation. When we talk of loss, loss is from the producers up to the market level. Producer means the farmers in the field. Waste is from the retailer up to the consumer level. It comes to the retail and goes up to consumer level. Now, if you look at waste, food loss here, it says food waste here is decrease in quantity or quality of food resulting from decision and action by food supplier in the chain, excluding retailers, food service provider, and consumer. That is a definition from FAO. And if you look at the waste in Asia Pacific alone, maximum waste is, or loss and waste here is combined, is in agriculture, followed by in retail, and then in processing, and eventually in the household. Next. So it gives you a picture of the last about 15 years on how food waste in kilogram per capita is increasing over time. So it's quite a scaring picture. It's a steep line you see here. Next. If we save, we can feed many more. That is the power of reducing food loss and waste. Globally, 1/3 of food produce is lost or wasted as per UNEP. If 25% of food loss and wastage is saved, we can feed 870 million people. 25%, which is a very interesting figure we all have to focus at one stage. And in Asia Pacific region, reducing waste by 50%, 465 metric tons saved can feed 300 million food insecure people. These are figures from FAO. It's very good to have this analysis, very good to have this kind of information. But what are we doing after having this information? What are we doing? We don't see any action on the ground. We are just busy in our jobs and our kind of projects and what we know we want to do. This requires a kind of a humanitarian and a global thinking process where you show your concern. If the organization agrees for you to work on that, where you can ensure food security in a much more, in a much more holistic manner. Next. Next. Now, Asia is as such a significant hotspot for cereal and rice wastage. Rice comes from Southeast Asia and wheat, for example, comes from South Asia mainly. Sorry. Someone is chasing me from Iran very badly. Okay. Asia Pacific region accounts for half of global food loss and wastage, which is not alarming or new because we have more than half the world population. We are 65% of the global population. If we account for over half of global food loss and wastage, I think it is quite in the right direction in terms of statistic. But it's very bad for us when we feel we are Asians and what is going on in Asia. 940 billion US dollar annual economic cost of food loss and wastage has been estimated for Asia Pacific. $940 billion. And this can be doubled as per the Rabo research. Some of you may be knowing Rabo research is the most authentic and the best forecasting research from Singapore by a Dutch agency called Rabo. It's a Rabo Bank actually which sponsors, which is a Dutch bank. So they say FLAW could be doubled by 2050, which is not far away. High wastage rates of fruit and vegetable contribute to water waste in the region. This you will understand if you know how fruit and vegetables, they depend on water at different stages. And in developing countries, 40% losses occur at post-harvest and processing level. So every bullet here becomes very crucial when we talk of loss and waste. Next. Asia Pacific is one of the most vibrant continents in the world. It has a diverse kind of a climate, country, economies, and culture. And it is the whole world in itself. If you look at the sub-regions of Asia and Pacific, food loss and food waste figures. China has 35 million tons of wastage. 40% of what we waste in Asia and Pacific is wasted by China alone. If you look at Southeast Asia, where we are in Bangkok, food loss is quite high, about 15%, and Indonesia is at the top in terms of wastage. If you look at Central and South Asia, where comes India, food loss is highest loss in the region. And that highest in Central and South Asia is in India, not because Indians are very fond of wasting. Basically, Indians are very fond of saving everything, but it is in India because of population and the geography, which is quite big. If you look at Australia and New Zealand, there is a loss of 5 or 6%, and Australia is leading in this region. Overall, is the lowest loss in the Asia Pacific region is in Australia. If you took overall Asia Pacific, we have more than 50% of global loss, which I say is normal. And we lose 931 million tons of food globally. Next. Let us look at the areas which are contributing for food loss and waste. At the production level, if you look at, there's a 20% loss, and it's due to pest, disease, inefficient harvesting, and abiotic conditions, the climatic conditions. Then you come to post-harvest. Post-harvest actually accounts for 40% of the losses, which is quite big. And this is because of improper storage or inadequate storage facilities, and there's a spoilage of food which is harvested. Then if you look at processing and packaging, then you find about 10% losses. Distribution and retail, this also lead to losses because of improper handling, cosmetic standards, which are probably the standards which are required by importers or the market, and overstocking. And here sometimes it is because of the technical barrier to trade, where a lot of cosmetic standards have to be followed. At the consumption level, which is in the hand of civil society, all of us, we waste by over-purchasing and improper storage. Next. If you look at the losses, food waste losses, here you can find very granular level, different components that are contributing for waste. I'm not going to read all that. At a very, very granular level, you find which component, how much it is contributing. Next. See, food loss and wastage is one thing. It's a material loss, physical loss, something we need. But the loss, the bigger loss of the food loss and wastage is the loss we face in environment. 8 to 10% of global greenhouse gas emissions come from this waste, which is quite a huge amount. Of all the emissions, 8 to 10% come from food loss and waste. Methane emission from landfills, decomposing food, where we put food which is not used, it decomposes, it accelerates indirectly climate change. Then water footprint, then land degradation, then economic loss. And even if you look at only smallholder farmers, you find they lose 20 to 50% of earning because of this loss and waste. Smallholder farmers. And we all talk of smallholder farmers and all the technologies for them. I don't see much of the technologies and innovation coming from smallholder farmers to help them avoid waste, which can increase their income by 20 to 50%. Next. Impact on malnutrition. In Asia and Pacific, if you look at calorie-wise, we lose 24% of calories with the food which is lost and wasted. And about 4 million undernourished people are there in Asia and Pacific. Saving 1.3 billion tons per year, it can feed 3 billion people. Look at this figure. This analysis shows if you can save food loss and waste, you can feed twice the undernourished. You feed the undernourished, then even if more comes, you can still save them. This is something we all need to look at and see how we can contribute for this. Next. How to minimize food loss? For a civil society, it's a planning meals ahead of time and all those small things which we do at home. Then at home, what you do, you store your food properly, you keep in refrigerator and all that, cool, dry place. This helps. Then composting, which very few people do, in a way to turn food scraps into nutrient-rich soil for plants. And many people are doing it now, even in the urban areas. So these are some very general best practices at the civil society level that can be followed. Next. Well, if you look at the policy framework, you have 5 pillars. Strategy of FAO. It talks of awareness and partnership, critical point identification, where you get the food loss index, investment mobilization, like what has been done for the cold chains recently, progress monitoring, which is because this affects the SDG 12.3.1 when it comes to target reporting, and governance integration. And we have examples like of Indonesia. So these are big talks, big things which the nation has to do. But as an individual, what we all can do, we should understand this, and we should feel we are contributing for that, for this, by our research, by our innovation, by our development, and by our daily habits of saving or properly conserving or properly storing food. Next. So before I conclude, I will come to call to actions for stakeholders. Governments are very crucial here. They enforce policies, they build infrastructure. Businesses are very crucial. They adopt circular practices. This is more on the circular economy side. Consumers are very, very important. They at least reduce the household waste, and they get a different mindset to eat and live. Next. If you look at national policies overview, I'm not going to read this. There is when we analyze the policies from Japan to China to up to Thailand, we take few examples. What kind of policy initiative they have? All of them have some kind of a policy initiative from the last 20, 25 years. And some of them have impact. Some of them are still struggling. Some of them are good example for others. I'm not going to read all that, but you need to see in which country you are, what is best for you, and how you can contribute towards policy initiatives at the national level. Next. Next.
Give me one moment, sir. It's like get stuck.
Yeah, I think that was the last. Okay, next. That's okay. Yeah. So we talk of building a zero waste future. It looks so nice. It looks so nice, a zero waste future. If you look at this PowerPoint, you see, like 2025, we say 40% reduction in food waste in UK. Major step towards this. Then global expansion of zero waste, municipal solid waste diversion. Then after 2 years, 3 years, the world aims to halve global food waste. You know, there are a lot of slogans coming. Lot of slogans, and we know SDG. SDG came in 2016, and we have just 5 years left. We have just achieved not even half the targets, what is there, though we are not saying it much. So we have targets, we have slogans, we have ambitions, but we really have to work hard. It's good to have these targets, to know our own weakness, that we are talking more and achieving less. So this information has to go everywhere. It's time we have to be serious if we want to really build a zero waste future, which is not impossible, but there are a lot of challenges at national level, which we will be discussing later in the next COP and with different speakers. Next. Yeah, I would like to conclude by saying all of us by which I started my talk is let us remember our grandmothers. If you genuinely remember your grandmother, you will come to know how you had been taught to really save every drop of water, every spoon of rice you are eating, how you cannot leave the table unfinished food on the plate. There are so many things we all have experienced. I think that is where we all got the mindset, but we have changed with time. We should always remember them. And I thank you all for joining. And I stop here. I pass on to Deepika to have an interaction with the panelists.
Thank you so much, sir, for your insightful presentations. Now we will move on our interactive question answer session with our specialist panelists. So we have three panelists. So we will start now. Dr. Kavya Dasora. She is from Central for Rural Development and IT Delhi. She is extraordinary and multi-dimensional journey, ranging from microscopic to she is working on the word. And now, ma'am, the second panelist, Miss Srisha Bantu, Director of Office of Sustainable Campus, Asian Institute of Technology. And the next panelist, Joel Jana, Senior Research Officer, Agriculture, Australian High Commission, experienced professional in the field of plant health, sanitary and phytosanitary issues, agro trade and agriculture extension. With over years of dedicated service, he is working on government of Dhaka. And thank you. Now we will start the question answer session. So the first question I will ask uh, Dr. Kavya Dasora, you're bringing a deep understanding of rural and technology.
Just 2 minutes, I will interact and then.
Could you share your examples of your technology in reducing food waste from farm to fork? Please, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir, and thank you so much, Deepika. Sir, it was, as always, a very, very thought-provoking presentation, simple to assimilate, and it will stay with me forever, as always. So, just for the house, the basics of agriculture in a very simplified way, in a context changing way, had always been the USP of Professor Khetrupal. And once again, he did the same. He gave us a new pitch to contest. So, coming to the question very quickly, we would like to know about what are the innovations. So, first and foremost, my point would be we should identify the blind spots where we need the innovation, because innovation is very much like a fashion. If somebody is wearing leather, everybody is wearing leather without realizing that yours is a hot country. There is no point wearing leather. But innovation should not be like fashion. So we should identify the blind spots where we need innovation. We like, for example, we should have micro IoT, because IoT devices, the beauty about IoT is it is very well connected without too much of wires. So, but then they are bigger in size. So, if you can make micro IoT, they can be used in the field, they can be used in the entire value chain. If you see, the biggest problem right now with the food waste is, if you just step backwards, we are over transporting, sorry, we are over storing, then we are over transporting, then we are over producing, we are over processing, we are over exploiting the natural resources. So by design it is flawed, by design it is wrong. So if we have micro IoTs, we are placing it in the entire value chain to tap on where exactly over is happening. So we should know our threshold. Then there has to be a frugal cold chain. Right now, the entire cost of the food increases many-fold because of the cost of food chain, the cold chain, and cold chain is expensive. And there are like very perishable products like dairy, which are very nutritious, and or meat, which is nutritious. You would like the people to eat. They want to eat, they can buy, but then because of the absence of cold chain, the food just gets spoiled. So if we develop it in a frugal way, it becomes very easy for people to use it, make it, implement it, and then we can reduce the food waste. Then biodegradable smart packaging. This is one very important thing which I also work on, and definitely it roots back to my discussion with Professor Ketrapal. When we say biodegradable, it is just not anything degrading into carbon, hydrogen, oxygen. There is a time dependence associated to it. If something degrades into carbon, hydrogen, oxygen in 75 years, that means almost a lifetime of a person, it is not biodegradable, because it has leached the toxins into the soil, plants and food cycles have adopted it, microbes have modified because of it. So it has more become a emerging contaminant. So biodegradability should directly be linked to what is the lifespan, or what is the then what are the residues which are being left. When I work on nanoparticles, nanoparticles cross the blood brain barrier. If they enter into the plant system, we should always be aware what should be the residue after 50 years. Like we all know, lead or any material, uranium, like these are the things which have a half life period. If nanoparticles do not have a half life period for 100 years, 200 years, and they are entering into our food system, possibly we are doing something very strange which we did not sign up for. Then next is, there has to be a techno-economic decision support system for farmers. Sir had always been linking food with economics, even when I used to work with him back, and I still get the glimpse of these ideas from him. Techno-economic means what would be the cost of technology, whether the baseline study, the need assessment, do you even need that technology? What is the technology cost? What is the economic cost of sustaining that technology? And then when we do it for developing a decision support system for farmer, we are trying to create a system wherein the technology is low in cost, high in impact, and good in economics. Then a platform like APAARI or FLAW should encourage developing sandbox, like a FLAW sandbox, because we are a limited people here who would think based on our limited experiences. But like, as I don't consider myself youth, and youth is out there brimming with ideas. So if we have a FLAW sandbox and we have ideathons and hackathons, we will have several ideas, starting from grassroots to how we can just assemble it, how we can make things better. Then we should have zero waste at mandis. Sir, there is one of a very big reasons, particularly in India, is we do not have policy wise also. Policy doesn't mandate industry to speak or record food waste, nor we have any such system for food mandis or aggregators. In India, we call it mandis. Basically, it is an aggregator. So if we develop a system where these mandis are, we have a tracking system, how the food enters and how the food exits and what all is the wastage there, possibly that can be one of the a good system to begin with. So we can name it like zero waste at mandi. Just and then we should do life cycle assessment and circular waste economy. Whatever is wasted, can we valorize it? Can we make a quick compost? Can we develop garbage enzymes out of it? So there has to be a loop completed out of every food waste. Then and only then we will reduce the problem of emerging contaminants. We will reduce the problem of landfills, because food directly goes into landfills, resulting into biomethanation, greenhouse gases. So just if we address the food and we put it into a circular loop, what technologies are needed, we do the base assessment, what is the the component of it, the techno-economic component, then we customize it. One example I will give you before capturing the entire time is that there is a technology known as treadle pump. And treadle pump is like, it has a pedal like this. It was made in laboratory by best of the engineers in IIT, and everybody was flaunting it. They took it to the field. It was flop, because the woman in the field was wearing a sari, which is a long skirt, and it was very difficult for her to tread like this with sari, because the sari was entangling. So these type of things we should take that very careful before we launch out the technology. That is it for the customer we are developing it for? That means we should have every stakeholder on board. So, sir, this is just a small brief of the possible innovations. I hope it is adding some value to the.
Uh,
Thank you, Kavya.
thank
Yeah,
you.
I think that was excellent. And
Thank
that
you.
shows that you can be our potential next speaker also.
Thank you,
But
sir.
before that, I pass on to Deepika.
Yes, sir.
Thank
Thank you so much, ma'am, for giving me really, really inspiring things. We can work on it, actually. We need it. We can
you.
work on it. So now I'm inviting our next panelist, Miss Sirsha ma'am. Sirsha ma'am, as a Director of Sustainability Campus at AIT. Could you please, ma'am, share some success story and about you, like how to like inspire whispered I mean, why like action in near any story you know about this collaborations?
Yeah,
Help.
sure.
Yeah, thank
Yeah,
you, ma'am.
sure. As Professor Ketarpal has said, there is more than 50% of losses itself in Asia. So there is high potential that we can reduce. I would rather try to speak something about Thailand. Actually, since I've been in Thailand for a very long time, and I also work on an Office of Sustainable Campus where AIT has this notion of going to zero waste by 2030. And we are working on certain factors, including the compost making that Sir has mentioned. So with that note, I would rather try to give small examples. Like there are two sectors where the food waste happens. One is at the agriculture sector where the produce during the production process, then during the harvesting process, even on the table where we are eating, there the food loss is also there. So in these three sectors, if we say about, one of the good example that I can give from Thailand is this Anilo. Anilo is a platform where you see, usually now we have this tendency of the supermarkets that we have all around, where the supermarkets accept the food products which are looking very nice because people tend to buy only nice products. But the one that has some marks on it, it is considered to be a rotten one. But in fact, that is a usable food. So this Anilo is a company which tries to connect directly to the farmers. Whatever is rejected to be going to the supermarket, that they collect it and they sell it on an online platform to different sectors at a very cheaper price where the food is being reused. That's one of a very good example of current innovation technology that we have. We can call it as a blockchain technology that is very prevalent in Thailand right now. So another example that I would say very practical at the table end where you have the food. One of the example where I have visited while I was trying to find out the model for AIT, I went to a school called as Bangkok Patana School, where they have their own canteen there. So they provide food for around 10,000 students in the school every day for breakfast, lunch together. So once the food, whatever is left over, what is their prospect of doing is they collect all the food that is left over, which is not eaten, is packed back and sent to the farmers in the nearby area. They just donate it and they put it in the boxes, proper boxes for them to eat the food. So the food is being donated and it's not wasted. Second thing, when the food, whatever it is wasted on the table, leftovers, that is again sent to the municipality where it is converted into compost or energy through Bangkok Metropolitan City. Here, I want to mention a point here. Thailand has a national policy of reducing food waste and also food segregation. But unfortunately, the policy is implemented only in Bangkok Metropolitan. It is not spread throughout the country. So where this, fortunately, this Bangkok Patana School is a place where this particular it is in this metropolitan area where the policy is being implemented. So I would rather say that sometimes the governance puts the policies in, but the implementation comes with the partnership of different sectors that could be connected together, including the technology that we are going to have. And outside Thailand, if I want to talk about, there is in Hong Kong, we have a company called as a Food Angel. Food Angel is something like they connect to different entities wherever there is a surplus food. Suppose you call it as a supermarket. There is a food that is there, the food material like vegetables, fruits or whatever, which is rotten. So they just collect it, try to make it into food packs and supply it. And they connect it in different sectors as such. So there are many ways of connecting or reducing this food waste. And lastly, I would say individual responsibility of reducing the food waste at the home itself is the first step that we should take. Because we have a tendency, we being working people, we tend to get every weekend whatever we could grab in and put it in the fridge. And at the end of a week, you realize that half of that has been rotten and you're throwing it out. So just buy whatever we need. As a campus sustainable officer, this is what also I try to give awareness on the campus as well. So this is my point of view about different success stories. There are success stories, but the policy governance, though the policy happens, the governance implementation is much more important on that. Implementation of IT and whatever, IoT, AI. AI is one of the biggest sector right now. So if AI could be implemented into the sector and have a partnership of technology with the agriculture sector, That is another place where we are going to increase the harvest as well as use it properly for utilization as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Really, we are already working on this SDG before in EIT, but this one is really, really new and very helpful for audience. And now I'm inviting our next panelist, uh, Mr. Joel Rana. And uh, Joel Rana is here. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And so addressing how food loss and waste can you be addressed by the national policy, particularly in least development countries, and how private sector can play a significant role in reducing the post-harvest losses of fresh produce. Uh, please.
Thank you. Thank you, Deepika. It was a fantastic presentation by Dr. Ravi sir. As always, I'm very fond of hearing him. And it is a very unfortunate information that I have been received today, that is reducing 50% wastage can feed 300 million food insecure people in Asia. This is absolutely, I should say, it's ridiculous. And international community should focus on this particular information that Ravi sir already mentioned, and why Asia is considered a hotspot for wastage is clearly been explained here. How structural policy, socioeconomic factors are actually involved, and countries like developing nations like Bangladesh and some other country always fail to see agriculture as a trade issue, I think. But ultimately, they are involved in trade, like the inefficiency that we have been watching today in the presentation. It is hindering the ability of a countries to meet international quality and standards also, and limiting their access to high value export market. And reliance on food import is rising, especially in Bangladesh, I must say, due to the inefficient domestic system and affecting the food sovereignty and bargaining power of the country in international order. Addressing food loss and wastage in Bangladesh's national policy system require a systematic reform and cross-sectoral alignment. Although Bangladesh has a policy on agriculture, food security, and post-harvest loss reduction, these are often fragmented and poorly implemented, as we all know. And existing policies still emphasize production rather than efficiency and loss prevention and quality also. A critical challenge lies in the lack of modern storage, transport, and processing infrastructure, particularly for rice and cereals, which leads to significant post-harvest loss. And if we see the public procurement policies also, I don't know, unintentionally encourage overproduction and stockpiling without adequate preservation facilities. Regulatory enforcement on food safety, grading, and quality standard is also weak, affecting both domestic and export markets. And the last part of your question was, furthermore, the limited private sector participation and low adoption of innovation stem from policy uncertainty and a lack of investment incentives. There's a very minimum space for the private player to perform on that policy levels. And national policy framework should address and integrate measurable food loss reduction targets supported by reliable data, digital traceability that we always say, and training of for value chain actors, and encouraging PPPs that mostly discussed in APAARI's different webinar. The reducing trade barriers, incentivizing quality focused productions are key, including the private-public partnership. Stronger coordination among government agencies, along with donor support and regional trade collaboration can help build a more efficient and waste resilient food system. And one thing I particularly noted down today that how smallholder agriculture actually dominate in developing nations. Asia's cereal production is genuinely dominated by small scale farmers with limited access to modern technologies and infrastructure. And this particular issue is also need to see with a trade lens, because this small scale integration in global supply chain uh, is difficult, while surplus production is often wasted due to poor market access. So how do national policy can address this? That's something I tried to explain before all of you. I hope I don't miss the major part. But thank you all, and especially to Rabisa for the nice presentation. Thank you, Deepika.
Thank you so much, Mr. Rana, and your thoughtful response. And thank you, Dr. Kavya ma'am. Thank you, Sirisha ma'am, for your initially giving practical angle and issues we are discussing. So now we open our participants. They are most welcome to. If you have any questions, our panelists, feel free to. You can raise your hand or chat box. You can ask anyone, please ask any questions if you have any questions.
Why you are putting panelists into problem, Deepika? The question can be for me also, for
Yes,
anyone.
yes, sir.
They should ask. I'm not going to run away by the. Yeah, the this
Yes, sir.
discussion and the presentation is open now for anyone to satisfy their queries.
Okay,
Because
if I am allowed, I may.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm.
please
Okay.
introduce yourself and yeah.
I'm Dr. K. Nasaya, ADG Process Engineering from ICR New Delhi, and nice to be part of this group. Like our aims and goals also align with your what you are advocating, like food loss and waste, reduction of food loss and waste, and we have a large network of institutes working on. Like you have emphasized that in production and post-harvest and processing, these three are the major areas where the losses are more. So how we can target, and we may have mainly in production, we are bringing pressure to reduce those losses due to biotic or abiotic factors. But in post-harvest losses, we have done how to assess them, and standard process and protocols for having this loss index. So these we can collaborate, or we can be partner with APAARI and others to establish in assessing the post-harvest losses, as well as in processing. So in value chain, total value chain, how we can be helpful. So we will be happy to be of any help, or open for collaborations in these areas, especially research as well as awareness programs. We will be happy to.
Thank you, Dr. Nasaya. That's very helpful. Let us remain in touch. Now I see Dr. Muhammad Ehsanullah. Dr. Ehsanullah, if you are there. If not, Dr. R.B. Tiwari from Indian Institute of Horticulture Research. Okay.
Yes, sir. Very good afternoon, and it was a very delighted presentation, sir. I am Dr. R.B. Tiwari from IHR, Head Division of Post Harvest Technology and Agricultural Engineering. I spent my entire service 34 plus, and this is my last year of service in the handling of the post harvest issues, processing of fruits and vegetables. So, sir, actually, I am from the third generation from the India, from the that Dr. Anand Purti, then the Dr. Rai, and this. We are the third generation, and still we keep on talking the 20 to 30% losses and 2 to 3% processing. Sir, as you told, it should be taken as a global and a collective initiation. Like just recently in Karnataka, we had a drop down of the tomatoes, huge tomato quantities. Even yesterday, I had a call from the Tamil Nadu farmer that lot of mango has fallen immeasurably and damaged to the fruit. So how to deal with the value addition? Now the issue is that the matching infrastructure cannot be made for a temporary to deal with a temporary situation. How what approach should be adopted for that purpose? If we are because if there is 10,000 tons of the mango fallen, we cannot have a dryer or a processing unit or something like that to deal that 10,000 suddenly, and that leads to the food losses and waste or huge quantity of the tomatoes. We simply cannot increase their processing capacity by 10 times because there is a huge quantity of tomatoes available in the market for 15 days because that infrastructure cannot become sustainable. What should be the approach?
Thank you, Dr. Tiwari. I am not the competent man to answer your question because I am not in the local state politics and policies both. But to answer your question, if I answer you as an independent person who is asked this question, if I am moving around Bangalore, if you ask me in a bus or a taxi like this is happening, what should you do? I can only say be charitable, work as mango following, whatever, bring farmers from the villages, spend a bit, bring them or take all this in a basket or in a sack and give it to farmers who can make use of making pickles or whatever, give them some support. Infrastructure doesn't mean you need to build a big house, a big cold storage and all. Infrastructure also actually means a little locally valid storage system, which is made a lot in India by mud and gobar, your cow dung and whatnot. You can be very innovative here to tackle the ad hoc problem. What you're talking about is a very ad hoc problem. I think that is where you need innovation of a different level to make sure that the waste is not actually wasted and is being used by the poor or by the farmers or being taken away by the processors or manufacturers, maybe by some deliberate action. It may not be in a normal course of time. But yeah, this needs more discussion, of course, at the local level. Thank
So,
you.
can I add a few
Thank-
points, sir, here?
yeah.
Can I please add one or two points,
Yeah,
sir?
Yes,
please,
yes,
Dr.
please,
Kavya.
please, ma'am.
Yeah, sir, first and foremost, we have to agree that there is a critical gap of real-time geospatial resolved data. There is no data as such. I mean, we have not collected this data at all, particularly in reference to post-harvest. So, using the platform of FLAW, why can't we have a FLAW census, which can be a periodic data collection like we have it mandated for, we used to have it in COVID, with that Arogya app. So similarly, how much is the harvest? How much is being to including all the value chain? How much and then involving the pattern on which the blockchain is made. The same template, like suppose it is 100 kg which has been grown or on the field, then 80 kgs goes to the aggregator, 60 kg goes to the market. So where are these 20 kgs falling down? Where is the pilferage? So if we are able to propose a FLAW census, a very unique census can be designed because, sir, in your team you must be
Yeah, please go
in
ahead,
in
Kavya.
your in your team you must be having economists also, and they would help you to design this census. And one more thing I would like to say, that we can have a climate calculator. Climate calculator can basically tell you a mandated FLAW data. FLAW means this platform, FLAW data, which has to be integrated with carbon and water footprint. So this would be a very new kind of a parameter. Right now we only say about carbon credits or carbon points, but we should use carbon plus water. Because, sir, if you remember, we used to discuss a lot that when internationally basmati is sold, it is only the grain weight which is taken up, not the fresh water, which this Tarai belt consumes to grow rice. So used to say that internationally the price of basmati should be calculated in respect to the soil organisms used, soil carbon used, and the fresh water which is consumed to produce that much amount of basmati rice. Pretty much on that framework, if we have a mandated FLAW data plan wherein we create water plus carbon as two monetary units, then we would be very conveniently capturing that data and also tangibly evaluating it when it comes to post harvest. So these were the 2 points I wanted
So,
to say.
ma'am, actually, this is
Wonderful.
a very good point. But my submission here is that the what exactly you are proposing the tracking by sensors etc. from the farm to the consumer. That is technically it is called as a traceability system where QR code, RFID tags, and barcode and all those things are required. For industrial production, that is very easy to add a barcode or a QR code. But the agri produce, especially fresh fruit and vegetables, from where it starts, a packet or a crate of okra. Now that is what in India I talk that if we want to have a traceability, we have to have a system for providing Aadhaar card number to every onion and potato. That is technically what. But do we have a
No,
kind of the
actually, sir,
system? Do we have
I
a
guess,
kind of the infrastructure which
yeah.
can be, because the anything added to the cost about tracking, tracing, etc., who is basically going to pay for that? It
No,
is
no, I
technically possible.
totally,
Even
I,
we are working on the traceability system under our Center of Excellence under Digital Horticulture at IHR. We have proposed a 100 crore project to the government of India. But actually, once we develop the technology, who is going to pay the cost
Sir,
of the
I
tracking?
I
Yeah.
agree to you.
Yes.
While I was making that point, and also the co-panelist, we saw you were a little busy with someone, so possibly you might have missed it. We talked about frugal innovations. We talked about frugal digital technology, micro IoTs, and then putting everything into a circular loop. So when you put everything into circular loop, your industrial product directly depends upon the raw material which is coming from field. And when we talk of an organized sector, let us say tomato ketchup. Tomato ketchup in an organized farming or Lay's potato chips, they need that specific variety of potatoes with very thin peel and very dense, symmetric, because all potatoes, Pringles and all, they have the same size, same shape. So their raw material is consistent and their raw material is traced back. So this would be a very responsible act of industry stepping in, making the whole farm to back to yard. You have to make it in a circular way, and every waste, every produce become
But
traceable.
there
I
is no dispute
Yeah.
on this. But who is going to pay for this infrastructure? The question lies
Yeah.
here. This
Dr.
is very,
Tiwari,
very, very,
I
very,
think,
yeah. Who
I'm
is going
sorry,
to pay for this?
discussion is very
Okay,
interesting.
yeah, 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 yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Discussion is very
Thank you. I will
interesting. And
lower my hand and
no,
please
no, no.
continue.
I'm
Yes.
sorry because no, I fully agree that who is going to pay and from where money will come. This community of practice, we have noted your point, but what we are more interested is the scientific fact and figures right now. And I think we can find out how the funding can be done at a later stage. And thank you, Dr. Kavya, for such a wonderful explanation. Now we have two or three more hand raised, and there are some good comments in the chat box. If you all agree, we may extend the COP for 5 to 7 minutes to finish all these which are there. May I request Dr. Muhammad Ahsanullah, who raised his hand and I did not get him when I called him, he was not there. Dr. Ahsanullah, you raised
Thank
the
you, sir.
question.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
From my point of view, from Bangladesh point of view, what we have seen that the uh, our harvesting index, that is maturity index of any product, especially fruits and vegetables, is more important. That process food very much. That is, we don't know about the maturity index of mangoes. Suppose we don't know when to harvest leafy vegetables. Is it in the sun when sun is up the above the sky, or in the morning or in the evening? The transportation that is happening, the cool chain, when we fire we keep it, and these are the things that losses our food very much. And how could we address? That is, we think that we should train our people much.
Thank you for highlighting, Dr. Hasanullah. That's an important point, well captured. Now we have 3 more hand raised, rather 4. I will now move on to Nguyen or Wing. We call Wing Thi Thang Lok from Huawei, yeah. Followed by Dr. Devendra and Dr. Pawan.
Yes. First, good afternoon, everyone here, and good morning there. And first, I would like to introduce, I am Nguyễn Thị Tân Lộc. I am working for Research Institute of Fruit and Vegetable in Vietnam. And thank you very much for organize the excellent webinar. Through the webinar, I learned a lot of lessons from the different countries. And I would like to share with you the actual situation of Vietnam at the moment and my idea. As you see in Vietnam, the production system, the food system now more diversified, and particular on fruit and vegetable. But in Vietnam, as you know, the characteristic of the climate, we have to face with 4 seasons, and at the moment we have to face with the climate change. So the rate of food waste increase year by year. So when I think if we have the occasion to apply the experience from different countries in Vietnam, we will be improve this sector a lot. And the second, from the optimization on new style of consumption, the food, particular with the young people, we thinking at the moment we can shape a lot of food if we sharing the experience from other countries. And as you see in the big city, the gap, the different from the rich and the poor a lot. So the rich food waste is quite a lot. Sometimes we accept they have to live quite a lot different kind of food, but sometimes they feeling they cannot live in the day because they afraid other people see. But why? What happened and why? Because you see, sometimes the helper of the ocean by the product, and sometimes other people cook, but they don't use on, or sometimes they are prison, so they cannot use on. So if we can use for example, the refrigerator in some communication location, for example, through the example in Thailand, I think in idea, I thinking in Vietnam, we can put the refrigerator behind the ATM in the bank. Through this, many poor can get the good food, or through the big event in big restaurants, through the even or the marriage, or sometimes in supermarket. At the moment, you see the system of supermarket in Vietnam developing. So every day I see the rate of vegetables they cannot sell, particular with the leafy vegetable. So if we have something to share, it is very good. So I am in Vietnam. I am working for Research Institute of Fruit Vegetables. So I am willing to contact if any program can develop this. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Nguyen, giving the Vietnam scenario. But I see that you don't have any question. You have,
Ravi sir, can I have a very 1 minute real life example of South Australia? How
yeah,
they
Dr. Jewel,
just
just 1 second. There are
yep.
people who are waiting. I'll just come back to you.
Okay,
Yeah,
thanks.
Dr. Dhingra from ICAR. They are waiting
Thank
since
you,
long.
Dr. Khetrapal. Yeah, I'm Devinder Dhingra, working as Principal Scientist in Agricultural Engineering Division of Indian Council of Agricultural Research. I'm based in New Delhi. So first of all, I would like to thank you all for inviting us for this meeting and all the panelists for their excellent presentations. First of all, I have a point to make that in your presentation, you have mentioned food loss in India 20 to 21%. So here there is a little bit of disagreement. And you have mentioned food wastage at 78.2 million tons. So in India, I haven't found that there is any credible estimation of food wastage. So I think that 78.2 million tons is the food loss, right? So that is one figure. So we are with the interventions of various technologies, government policies, and farmers and our transporters, aggregators, and with the technological interventions we have seen during the last 10 to 15 years, there is quite a good reduction in food loss. And the government as well as the academia researchers, they're all very concerned about it. And all those interventions, the research based or the survey based things which have done, they have led to some reduction in food losses. In case of durables like cereal grains, food grains, oil seeds, pulses, the losses are only up to 6%. In case of fruits and vegetables, they are slightly more in some commodities. But 20 to 21% is not, I personally feel, is not the correct figure if you look at the data published by Ministry of Food Processing Industries as well as Indian Council of Agricultural Research. So that is one point. The other point is we are only thinking of what kind of losses and wastage. Wastage I will talk about little later. So what kind of technological interventions which are taking place? So in India, for storage of food grains, we are shifting from bag storage to silos, where we have more control on the monitoring of the environment and then looking into the safety of food grains. And Indian Council of Agricultural Research, it constituted an Indian Grain Storage Working Group, which I think it's almost 8 to 9 years old group, and which meets every year to discuss about the latest technologies in grain storage. So right now, this group is working with FCI, CWC in looking into the alternatives for fumigation with phosphate. That is to implement to reduce the food losses in grain storage while they're in bulk, also in bag storage. And let me try to give you an example that even the farmers in India, they are also shifting to better storage systems. They are adopting hermetic storage. Similarly, for spices and others, hermetic storage is being adopted to control the food losses. So my only point is that we are at a place where we are looking into technologies which can reduce the food loss and how we can take these to the farmers, to the entrepreneurs, to the correct people, and how they can use these technologies properly and they can reduce the food losses, because everyone is concerned. The farmer doesn't want wastage produced. Food wastage, sir, we are also working with the group. I will let you know they are working in New Delhi, Greater Noida, Coimbatore, and all the Jaipur. It is named as Indian Food Banking Network. So what they do is they try to collect the surplus food, be it from the industry which is nearing expiry date, and also they have tie-ups with the big banquet halls, hotels, and wherever the social events, marriages, and other parties are happening. So they are trying to pick that surplus food and distribute it among the communities which don't have enough money to buy fresh food. So sometimes I was joking with them that how is your business going? He said, our business is growing. I said, I don't want your business to grow. I want your business to collapse. I want your business to narrow down because we want the food wastage to come down. So in this regard, sir, there is a United Nations has mentioned the date 29th September as a day for food loss and wastage. So we have already moved it to the Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare to make an announcement that we also introduce this in India so that we can observe 29th September as a day of awareness about food loss and food wastage. You will agree that all of us who are together in this meeting, we are very well aware of the food loss, food wastage, its impacts on our resources, and its impact on our environment. But the common people, the layman, they are not aware of this. So
Right.
what kind of programs we arrange so that we can enlighten them about the benefits of reducing the food wastage. For food loss, we have people and they can be targeted very easily. But for food wastage, we have to reach each and every household. And this point, because in India, food wastage, still we don't have any proper system of estimating. Our institute in Ludhiana, in Punjab province of India, they have using the funds from corporate social responsibility. They have initiated a project to estimate food wastage in the city of Ludhiana. So I think once the results come, we will have some insights where
Yeah,
the food
Dr.
wastage
Dhingra,
is
I think you
happening.
are
And
giving beautiful insight. And
so there
we
is
will,
one more point, Dr. Khetarpal, there is one more
yeah,
point.
because we are
This
shooting
is,
continuous
yes,
overtime. There are
I
few
know,
people.
it's a
But
very
I
important
want you as
topic.
a speaker next time, and you can speak for full 1 hour.
So the
But
one last point.
your choice if you want to empty
Yeah.
yourself now.
Yes, one last point in say 30 seconds.
Okay.
Apart from this, food safety is also very important. The knowledge of food
First.
safety shall go to the individuals. I cook food at home and I waste it. It becomes, it gets spoiled and I have to throw it away. So we have to teach the people about the knowledge that how they can plan the meal and how they can store their cooked food properly so that it is not going to the wastage. That's
Thank
all.
you.
Thank you all for listening to me. I think it's a very important topic and we need a lot of discussions and interventions. And once
No.
again, thank all the panelists for their valuable insights.
Thanks, Dr. Dhingra. I think you make very important points. Sorry for telling you to be brief.
It's okay,
Because
sir.
we
It's
wanted
okay.
to respect time of everyone, but we really enjoyed your deliberation. So if I can move on to Dr. Pawan Sharma and followed by Sabrina Lutfa. It's a name I can remember. I think you were there last time. Yeah, Dr. Pawan Sharma first.
Okay, sir. I am from the crop science division of ICR. I have only two points to make. One point is, of course, you have given the figures regarding the food loss and waste. But another very important point is that about the hidden cost of the global food systems. Now, the FAO has estimated that the global hidden cost of agri-food systems exceeded more than $10 trillion at power purchasing parity in 2020. So it is a huge amount. And ultimately, it is having the ecosystem, and this is related with the food loss and waste also. And secondly, we have to admit that in general, people are not aware about the consequences of food loss and waste. Of course, 800 million people are going hungry every day. So I think Dr. Dhingra has referred to about the awareness day regarding this, but I feel that just as in India we had the Prime Minister started your Swachh Bharat campaign to create awareness about cleanliness. In the same way, I think a campaign has to be started at the national level in different parts of the country in India to create awareness about minimizing the food loss and wastage, and especially the consequences of uh, food loss, of food that is wasted, because ultimately it is in terms of the effect on the ecosystem. And of course, the madam also referred to what they were talking about the productivity. Productivity has to be enhanced, but while enhancing the productivity of any crop, we are using the resources, and there has been a suggestion that we should talk in terms of water productivity. water productivity. And so far at the country level also, different countries, do we have any data? Of course this is the FAO data, but do we have any data, because agri-food system or food supply chain is there, do we have the country wise data where what are the hidden costs of the agri-food system at the country level? So all these things have to be looked at. And I once again congratulate you, sir, for very informative presentation that you have made. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Pawan. I think you made very important points, and we will be now on this platform to share more and more with time. And for Dr. Dhingra, very briefly, the statistics of what we have presented, you said it is not what actually it is. We will share with you. You will have to context it with the FAO, which has reported for India. It's not Ravi Khetarpal or APAARI. I just go to the global reliable sources and I report. I will give it to the government of India to check it with FAO. Thank you so much. And now we have one Dr. Jival Rana was asking our panelists something. I had to stop him. Dr. Jival, please. Then we have a last panelist or someone to ask.
Yeah,
Yes, Dr.
thank you.
Sabrina, and
Thank
then we'll
you.
stop.
Basically, thank you for offering 1 minute chance for me. It was not questions, sir. It was actually a 1 minute real-time example what is going on in other part of the world, how they are reducing and mitigating food loss and wastage. You might know, sir, the Wait campus in South Australia, there is a fantastic project called Fight Food Waste Cooperative Research Center. So in Australia, we call it a CRC approach, where this national program brings together industry, research institution, government agency to reduce food wastage across the supply chain. So this CRC approach can be very compatible for the South Asian perspective also. That is something we can go for further reading about the CRC approach of the South Australian government, so that we can reduce the food loss and wastage, and how actually all the partner together are doing to reduce food wastage is a real-time fantastic example in South Australia, combining research, innovation, and industry collaboration. And is a very good model tackling food loss in a structured, science-based and scalable way. And there is a very good funding from industry part also, and there is some from government part also. So there is a very good example of funding, integrated funding system to address the food loss. That is something I need to share with you. Thank you, sir.
Thanks a lot, Jival. It's a very useful intervention. Okay. We have the last hand raised, which is hand not raised now, but I can still confirm from her. Dr. Sabrina, you were raising hand before. Maybe you were tired of raising. I don't know. If you still want to ask a question.
Actually, I don't want to ask a question, but I can say something from the perspective of Sweden, because I work in a university in Sweden here, and what we see that, if you want to raise awareness about certain things, you have to also educate people in a way. What you can do is you can integrate, for example, in Sweden we have sustainability program, and we try to integrate the sustainability issues in every course in the university level. So it's not just about, and I would just come, I will take 1 more minute. I have been talking to some people about food waste in Bangladesh, and because I was seeing this news about farmers crying when they could not sell potatoes, or they could not sell cauliflower, and they were just, they had to throw those crops and vegetables. So I was thinking about a solution, what could be done. And it's not just about developing a processing center or a storage facility, but it also about, what you can do is that, like the agriculturists, or from the university, or from the research organizations, or whoever. I'm not an agriculturist, to be honest. I'm in international business, so it's not my area, so I cannot say. But I think it's also important that our farmers they know what they have to produce every year, because sometimes when they see that, okay, in previous years we have produced potato and it was, we made a lot of profit, so next year we are going to produce the same thing. Maybe it's not always, helpful. It's not always helpful for them, because maybe next year it will be a bumper production, and then there will be a imbalance between imbalance between supply and demand, and that will cause them losing a lot of food. So I'm Hafizat right now. I think I'm everywhere right now. But what I'm trying to say is that it's not about just, you have to think more wide. You have to engage different stakeholders into the system. Like, for example, as I said, that the education system also have to integrate in different levels from school to university about how to reduce the food waste and things like that. And it has to also be done in the agricultural sector through developing processing and storage facilities and so on and so forth. So it's actually many levels or many layers of people or stakeholders need to be engaged in this in this issue in order to reduce food waste. I don't know whether I made any sense, but I hope you would. Yeah, but that was all. That's what I wanted to say.
Thanks, Dr. Sabrina. We got the message quite clear. It's the integration of multi-stakeholder for this, to tackle the issue and to bring diverse thoughts and to continue our dialogue, I think is one way we can really move. Right? Thank you. Thanks a lot for your intervention. And with this, I think I am going to sum up very briefly. First of all, it was the first community of practice. And I personally feel we have achieved the objectives because we wanted to not only raise the awareness, but silently we wanted to provoke all of you to come up with the original ideas, to come up with what you can offer, to come up with your depth of knowledge. And we got it through some of the interventions and mainly from the panelists. And like the Kavya idea of flaws and sex, it was a wonderful idea I could capture immediately. And she had many more. I mean, she always has many more, but somewhere we have to stop. We have to look at what is doable for us. So that is one point, Dr. Kavya. Thank you so much. Then Dr. Sirisha, I think you gave a good example of a local success story. And that is important because how we start at the local level to finally amplify it at the regional and global level. And Dr. Jewel, you are always excellent with your breadth of knowledge on the importance of the private sector here and what is going on in Australia and all, and what can be probably we should think of. And then we have a lot of panelists giving their views. And more than that, there was some very interesting interventions by many on the chat box. I read it very quickly. I have no time to read all. We'll answer them gradually. One was from three interventions by one Dr. Rajesh Kumar, very interesting. And I think one important one from Ms. Ayushi Malhotra. And there were many more. I think we are going to get back to you. And we will see that we get a holistic picture of this collective discussion, decision, or collective wisdom which we are capturing here to see in future how we can do more of collective actions for minimizing, because all the future COP will be on how we can prevent, minimize, do policy issues. So it was setting a stage to make a sensation and highlight the importance of the food loss and wastage at the national, regional, global level, and how much we can feed a large number of undernourished just by saving 50% of the food loss. We can really tackle the problem of the global population of the undernourished, which the statistic shows quite clearly. So it's a challenging problem, but it is doable to look at. And I'm so glad that so many people are interested. And that I can also say before we close is, normally rich people believe in wastage. and they don't feel they are wasting, even in the families. I mean, at a personal level, I'm saying that is translated to the higher level. Like if you are middle class or you are poor, I think what is wasted really pinches you a lot. And most of us from the developing countries or least developed countries, we should feel the pinch of what is being lost, even if we have not felt. That pinching thing is very important. And what Dr. Devinder Dhingra mentioned, I was impressed by the program ICR is actually taking care of, which is quite interesting. At the same time, we have the technology and innovation there, which was highlighted by Kavya on the use of AI and all, which can also help many issues on how we can look at the whole subject. So friends, we will stop here. We have overshooted half an hour of this 1 hour webinar, but this is just the beginning. There's much more to come. And please contact Deepika or to me if you want to speak on any of your success or even failure stories, which often people hide. But we always encourage failure stories for others to know so that they have a success. If you can please tell us, like if you want to wanted to make a policy at national level, how you struggled 4 years and still you could not do. It will be good to listen to such stories so that we all can contribute to make it happen. But success stories, of course, the whole world enjoys that, so that is welcome. Anything you have to share, please let us know. Otherwise, we'll be contacting some of you based on all the interventions today to please help us in contributing for this COP. And I could see a very rich participation from different parts of the world. Our major problem is not to get people from Latin America and from North America because of time zone issue. That is a big problem, but we will be sharing the recording with all of them. And maybe after some time, we may have some COPs at late night hour in Bangkok, which can be early morning US or which can be very early morning in Latin America, because things are becoming very popular. What we are doing, we're getting a lot of experiences of everyone. So we would like to keep this trend and play our role in this noble mission with the help of all of you. Thank you so much. And thank you to my APAARI colleagues for really making this happen. And Deepika, you can take a photo of everyone, but unless you want to thank everyone, I don't know.
Thank you all panelists. Thank you all participants, and especially Ravi sir, because you are motivating. This is COP, and this is not first COP. We will doing after 2 months, like on July. We will meet soon, I hope, and see you soon. Before wrap up, we will take a group pictures. Please kindly request everyone open your camera.
With a smile.
Yes, sir.
Yes, we are ready for photo shoot.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, everyone, and see you soon.
See you soon.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks, Dr. Shah, for joining from your
Dr.
new office.
Sir also.
Yeah, sorry, I could not.
Good
Sorry, I could not
afternoon.
join you in time because I had some AICT talk to give, so I joined little late.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You told me, sir. Thank you,
But
sir. Thank
COP,
you.
but COP we call here is Committee of Peers. You call COP as Community of Practice, which is good.
Yeah, but in Europe and North America, it is a police we call COP. And we are policing around the world how they are not behaving properly in avoiding food loss and wastage.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Sure. You take it.